Before we start this podcast, I would personally like to apologize for the less than perfect audio. I forgot to switch the input of my mic, so my voice will be a little bit muffled. But without further ado, please enjoy episode 4 of Podcast Without a Name. Hey everyone, welcome to Fear the Walking Podcast. Today I am joined by
Ricky,
Turk,
Ryan,
and Aaron,
and your host, Antoine Bandelay. So today, obviously, we are talking about the new series, Fear the Walking Dead. So, who wants to start off? Who wants to start this one off? Should we have our guest start off first? Oh, by the way, so Eric and Aaron are not here. They have not watched the show yet, so we brought in Ryan Duff, who was one of my coworkers, and my brother, Aaron Bandelay. Let's actually just introduce you guys yourself. Let's Aaron, who are you?
Hello, I'm Aaron Bandelay. I'm Antoine's brother, obviously. I'm like a college student. I like playing a bunch of role-playing games and trying to learn Maya because I want to get into animation and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty much all about me, I guess.
Awesome. Ryan, what can you say about yourself?
my name is Ryan. I am your coworker. Really, I'm a big fan of TV in general. Working to try and become a TV writer.
Awesome. And then you guys already know Ricky and Turk, and you know me, so it's all good. I guess I'll start this off. So we're just talking about expectations first. What were you guys' expectations for this show when it first came out?
I expected to see the 6th Street Bridge.
And we got it. We'll talk about that part. Oh, and by the way, we will make this the first half of this will be a non-spoiler review, and then we're going to go to a spoiler section. We will warn you before we go to spoilers. But yes, that is something we will talk about because the 6th Street Bridge made a huge appearance in the show.
Yeah. Good thing you mentioned the spoiler thing because my other thought was a spoiler. So.
Good. Anyone else had expectations for the show, like thematically, or did you guys feel like, do we need this, or?
I actually hadn't really paid much attention to it, so I'd seen the billboards and I kind of knew the general premise, but I kind of went in pretty open, and so I think that was a good way to watch it. I don't know if it affected my opinion of it, but
yeah, like going in with no expectations at all.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you have any expectations?
I literally didn't know this show was a thing until yesterday.
Because I didn't tell you. I was asking you guys.
So yeah, I literally had no expectations. I just walked into it like, oh look, this is the thing, I guess.
And Turk, what about your expectations?
I think initially I was just like, whatever. We had that really short teaser months ago, I think, and I was like, I don't know. And then the closer we got to it, we got the longer ones. It's it might actually be really, really interesting. Just because I'm into zombie games, and a lot of times in the zombie video games, you experience the world sort of going to hell, and that's something you didn't get in the original Walking Dead. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and also I guess my expectation going into it was that we never actually got to see the outbreak happen, because from Rick's perspective from the original series, he just, he is shot and goes into a coma, and then when he comes back out, it's the outbreak has been going on for a little while. And this one I was expecting, oh cool, we get to see the slow burn of the outbreak. But that'd be kind of one of my criticisms, I guess, of this show, because I felt it was a little bit too slow burn. I don't know if anyone else felt like that.
Oh yeah, I definitely felt that way too. I mean, it is really cool to see they're sort of polar opposites in that sense. He wakes up and it's really just him experiencing the zombie apocalypse for the first time. Everyone else is like, dude, you've been out of it. This has been happening, and this is the very opposite, I guess. It's everyone experiencing it all at once.
I mean, I guess I didn't really know where the show was going. I didn't know if it was gonna just start, in the outbreak, or basically when everything's already gone to hell, or if it's just the whole series is gonna be leading up to the post-apocalypse. I'm not sure really where they're going. I'm just curious to see what happens.
And were you compelled enough during the episode, or did you feel it?
Oh yeah, I mean I wasn't. Yeah, the whole thing drew me in. I really enjoy the character so far. So.
Do you have any favorites so far? Anyone who's you're really wanting to follow? I meant to say.
I guess like the Johnny Depp looking dude.
Ah!
Dude,
Mhm.
we totally said the same thing. I was like, he's like young Johnny Depp. Like he's
Yeah,
like an
definitely.
autistic version because he's like so.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
so
initially
weird.
I just wanted to punch him in the face. Like he was so annoying initially. I was like, I can't stand this guy. I really cannot.
By the
stand
way,
him.
are there any Harry Potter fans in this podcast right now?
Yeah.
Did you notice that he was the young Voldemort from
No,
Half-Blood
I-
Prince?
I didn't, but
He
that
was
makes
only in
sense.
like the flashback scene for like 5 minutes, so I wouldn't expect anyone to know except for me because I'm crazy into Harry Potter. But yeah, he's the young Tom Riddle in Harry Potter, and I was just like,
That makes sense.
cool. But yeah, Ryan, how did you feel about it? How did you feel about the pacing?
I thought it was a little. I feel like they kind of set up the premise, and then we were just kind of waiting for stuff to happen a lot of times. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it has the outbreak hasn't happened yet, and this is their family drama. But I don't know. It's just not that kind of high level of conflict that The Walking Dead almost always has. So that was a little interesting. I don't know if it was my favorite thing, but I'm gonna keep watching. I'll see where it goes.
Right. Yeah, me too for sure. Ricky, how'd you feel about the pacing?
I thought it was slow as well, but I thought by Hollywood film and television standards, it was a little bit quicker than usual. You know, I almost expected the first episode to be all slow burn, like not even jump into the zombie stuff yet. Um, but I mean, I don't know. They ended the episode with it getting closer to what we know about The Walking Dead.
Right.
So I didn't feel. I don't know. I guess the reason it felt slow to me wasn't because of when events happen necessarily, because they seem to happen at a good pace. It was slow because the people weren't that interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that I'm actually agree with that.
If there had been an episode before this where maybe I cared more about them, it would have made more sense. But this was like it almost felt like they sort of skipped over introductions for.
Right. I think that's what was lacking for me too, because like you get kind of right into the world, which is
Yeah.
I get why you would want to do that like in a show, but at the same time you're like, well, what should I really care about? Like I don't have a connection with these people to like feel these conversations, the weight of these conversations that they're having.
And I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying. I mean, they couldn't have two separate episodes where they're here are our characters, here's your basic exposition, and here are their names, and here are their lives, and they really just kind of threw you into it. Like, all right, you have to learn quick. Like, this is what they're going through. This is why they're arguing. This is why this person doesn't like that person, and so on and so forth. So I think they were trying to push it a little like further, go a little quicker with it, so it wasn't as. I guess it. I thought about it. I was like, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot
Oh, yeah,
slower.
definitely could have been worse. Yeah.
Well, I think they were like the exposition and that kind of thing was probably what we were all feeling because it was like they had to put that in there, but we were also like, well, okay, now we know their relationship, and you've just kind of told us that. Whereas I think if you look at the original pilot, and I keep comparing it to that one, but you're just kind of with Rick finding out everything at the whole time, so it's like you don't even know about, you don't know a whole lot other than what situation he is in at that moment, and that's why it's so compelling. So I think that's like this one is trying to set everything up, and that might be why we all felt it was a little slow.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because I mean, you're really just centered around Rick the whole time, and he's the main character of the show. It's really all about. I mean, granted, you have the other characters too, and you have their episodes where they're going through stuff, and you feel for them. But Rick, it started with him.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier to just like, oh, this poor man. He just wants to find his wife and his his son. I think it's funny if I could say that I feel like really sorry for any of these characters, it's definitely the dad.
Right. Yeah. If there's a well, I mean, obviously the mother I think is what's supposed to be played as the protagonist.
Yeah, I think she's just gonna be the star.
Right, exactly. But I think because we had such a clear-cut goal for Rick is why we were so with him versus this, which we don't really have any clear set goals yet. I mean, we do have like the stepfather who's trying to like kind of make up amends or like trying to fit into this new family that he's a part of and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you have I think the most compelling piece, which wasn't really about a goal, but just more about I guess just this conflict would be with the son because of what he was going through because he wasn't sure if he was crazy or not, and that was a huge part of the show, which towards the end, which we'll talk about later, I felt like was the hugest part for him, and I felt really bad for him at that point.
I think what was hard with the son is we all know he isn't crazy because we know what happens. You know what I mean? So there
Right.
wasn't like that inherent drama with it. You're like, no, he's right, but he just doesn't know it. You know what I mean? So I think that might have been some of the issue.
Did you guys have any favorite scenes from the show or favorite sequences? Without
No.
getting too spoilery, just vague.
No.
No, I think if I had to choose any, it'd probably be the ending of it.
Yeah.
Right when it was going to get good, and then it literally just ended. You know, we had downloaded it and it ended, and I was like, "What the? Is that it? What the hell? What just happened?" You know, I thought like the computer went to sleep or went like to a screensaver. I was like, "No, you're kidding me, right? That's ridiculous."
I kind of like the scene with the kid who had the knife and was talking to our protagonist. I don't even know these people's names. I just realized I don't remember any of their names, which is terrible. Probably terrible.
Nick is the son.
Okay, Nick is the son.
Madison is the
Teacher.
yeah.
Well, they're both
She's
teachers. But yeah.
the Kim Dickens lady. The
Is
Yeah.
the daughter? Is her name?
I just
like
remember him
Alicia or
calling her
something?
Miss C.
Alyssa, I think, right?
Alicia.
Alicia, yeah.
Yeah.
That's her real name.
But yeah, that kid with the knife, he was talking about like, you know, we also got kind of the world, and he was like, oh yeah, it's happening in like 5 states.
Yeah, I kinda-
numbers. I thought that was pretty.
I thought that's why I feel a little, I guess, differently about that. I thought that was like probably the most annoying scene in all of the shows. Just the dialogue between them felt so strange. Like, did they even know what they were talking about? Like, were they both in the same conversation? It just felt off. Like he was talking about one thing, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and she's like almost like she was pretending to know. And that was just kind of a strange exchange.
Well, I
felt
think
like
the whole thing was that she was saying like the authorities would save us, like they would tell us if something's
Mhm.
happening, and that
Yeah.
that was kind of like the point of that one, is that she would be in disbelief that
yeah.
her world can change, you know, and that kid he seemed like, you know, he was probably like an outcast, something like that for him could easily happen, and for me he was the kind of guy who was into zombie comic books. Although I think, is it confirmed that Robert said that no one knows about zombies in this world? Like that's not a thing.
Pretty sure.
They
I mean,
really-
they didn't act like it, which is, you know, that's always a thing. No one ever knows
They
what
said
zombies
that.
are.
I was hoping
Yeah.
that kid would be the catalyst. That would
Right, that'd be like,
he's-
guys, zombies.
Yeah, like in that episode, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Twilight Zone, the monsters are due on Maple Street, where the one kid, everyone talks to him because I read alien comics, and they're aliens. You know, we don't beat around the bush and call them deadies or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like we've yet to get that one person's like, yeah, what the hell's wrong with y'all? They're zombies. Like, why are you acting like you've never heard of this like in your lives?
No one ever saw Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
No,
But this is supposed to take place in our world somehow.
exactly. I'm like,
I can
what?
understand them not saying it in backwater Atlanta or something, but we're in LA now.
Right, which was kind of cool. They had bits of like viral videos and things like that, which I thought was pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
But-
I think that definitely it sort of grounds it and it makes it more believable to us because you're like, yeah, that's pretty much how it would go. That's how we'd watch it, you know, on a YouTube video, and people are like, oh, speculating, oh, it's fake, you know, and trying to debunk it. And you have all these trolls on like a forum or something.
But yeah, I did like that there was little bits of things getting worse, like the kids going to school, like it was becoming less and less frequent. There was less kids in there, and they even had it was kind of on the nose, like that scene with the guy teacher whose name I'm forgetting right now, when he was talking to his kids about like nature always wins, and like, you know, the whole foreshadowing.
Wait, wasn't? I thought that teacher and the stepdad were the same person.
What do you mean teacher was in the same what?
Well, there's like
In
the
that
principal.
Oh,
Well,
there's the principal, and then they're both teachers. Both of our protagonists, the stepfather and the mother.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
one guy's like an English teacher, and I don't know what she teaches.
She
think
seemed like
she's
a
just like
counselor.
a guidance
Yeah, I thought she was a
counselor.
counselor.
Yeah, she was
Oh,
a
she's a
counselor.
counselor. My fault. Yeah, that was my fault. I was calling her a teacher this whole time.
Yeah, that what you said was exactly what I said. Like, and it wasn't just that. It wasn't just when I think his name was Travis, when he was talking to his class about nature always winning, and then like just a few scenes later, they go to the daughter's classroom and they're talking about chaos theory.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
foreshadowing.
yeah.
It's really, it's like really, it's
It's very on the nose.
obvious. It's like so.
Wait, where's that?
They should have played the Cranberries zombie song on the radio.
Oh my god.
Well, I think they're setting again, like the whole episode. They're just setting up for everything. One of the things I kind of laughed at, but like thought about too, was that it's funny that the Travis and his wife Madison have, or not Madison, Travis. Travis has two families basically.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So I imagine there's going to be a conflict later on when things start to hit the fan, and he has to choose between helping the two of them.
That's
What he's
very
gonna
true.
do.
That'd be a really awkward situation. Like, you know what? Just come with us, and
Yeah.
have his girlfriend and his ex-wife and his son and his stepson and his step. Like, that's just. I think actually, if I had to, I guess pick a particular scene out of the whole thing that sort of made me like, I don't know, uncomfortable. Like I felt like it was happening right in front of me was the hospital scene when they're all sort of bickering and arguing, and you're really feeling like this poor stepdad just completely out of place. Like they just do not want him there, and he's just like, give me a break, sort of thing. It felt like I broke a sweat. I was like, oh my god, what just happened?
He's trying to do his best here, and
Oh no, he was kind of setting up the premise, and when he was talking to his son and saying, we're trying to form a family here. I think he was kind of saying like that's what's coming.
Yeah, I need a team.
Yeah.
We want to be the Brady Bunch here, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the woman he was talking on the phone, I couldn't figure out if that was like an older daughter or his ex-wife.
That was his ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's from what's that show? Orange is the New Black. She's one of the prison ladies.
Yeah, that actually would be a very, very cool. Like, if you think about, have you guys played the Telltale game of Walking Dead? Anyone?
I have.
I think it will be kind of like one of those situations where you have like two factions that you have to choose between. I know that's going to happen sometime during the season, where it's definitely going to be like this son or my my new wife's son kind of a thing, like that kind of situation where in the game you have to choose, but in the show he's going to have to choose.
Those are really interesting developments. I'm just, as much as I actually got into The Walking Dead really late because every time I walked into the room and someone was watching, I was like, oh, so much people drama. Where are my zombies? To me, it's like, if I don't have zombies, this isn't a zombie apocalypse. And it really pays off in the end when they set up this really, like, intricate people drama, this, like, web of these relationships that just get sort of screwy and even more complex as the show progresses, because when you throw zombies into the mix, especially at the right time, it's just explosive. You're like, oh my god, this wouldn't be such a big problem if there weren't zombies, trying to eat their faces in the next room.
Yeah, and it kind of elevates even just the human experience in general, I think.
Yeah.
It elevates every emotion, whether that be like love and protection or fear and hate. I always think that that's the best thing about it. And I think that could be the past for this episode, is that it's setting all that stuff up so that when we get to that point, we'll feel all that.
Yeah, definitely.
But cool, does anyone have any additional things to say before we move on into spoilers? Was that a Texas motorcycle?
Yeah.
Who is? It's like what's over there? It's like
No, that's I think my house.
oh, it's your house.
Is that a Texas motorcycle? Why does it have to be from Texas? Motorcycle outside.
That
Daryl
is an
Dixon.
Motorcycles are from Texas.
It's an LA motorcycle. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, hey guys, I'm all home. I'm home.
Nice.
I want to say I knew it was going to happen. Okay, now let's talk about spoilers.
All right. And now we're moving into spoilers. If you do not want to hear what happened in the first episode of Fear the Walking Dead, this is your time to get the heck out.
Get out.
Okay, I knew the black guy would die first.
What do you mean, the boyfriend?
Yeah, like I was
He's
telling
technically
Ricky,
not dead.
Ricky was saying that. He's like, well, you don't know he's dead. I'm like, babe, he's dead.
Well, even if it's not him, the other guy who was
Oh, Calvin. You're talking about Calvin.
Yeah.
Who's the only
Calvin
person I
got
know?
yeah,
Yeah, he did.
he got killed like 7 times.
Yeah, that's true. By the way,
Johnny
has
Depp
anyone
was-
seen Straight Outta Compton, by the way?
Not yet.
No.
Because he plays Dr. Dre's little brother. As a tidbit, as a little side note.
I thought he looked familiar. I
Interesting.
couldn't think.
But in any case, yes, he was the first one technically to die.
Well,
Although
technically-
Gloria was dead first.
Yeah, Gloria
I
died
wasn't-
first.
Well,
And
she might still be alive.
Whoever else she killed.
That's true.
You know
That's
what?
true.
We didn't see her alive, so she didn't die first.
yeah.
Whatever.
Good point. Good point.
Ooh.
I wonder if she OD'd and she
Yes,
woke up.
I think that's what they were implying.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
did the whole thing start from drugs?
I don't think she was
I
Subject
don't
Zero.
think so.
No,
I
it
don't
has
think
the
so.
because everybody has the virus.
Yeah, everyone already has it
Flu
in.
thingy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever the hell it is, wherever it came from. Which, we might actually
Well,
get some freaking answers.
might.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool, actually.
I think at this point we've seen enough Walking Dead to just be like, just tell us what happened already. Just for the love of God.
We
Well,
got
I mean-
almost answers in the first season, but then
Yeah.
that got all blown up to pieces at the end.
Yeah.
I thought I read recently that I think Robert Kirkman said that they're not going to explain it. Like they're just not going to explain what it is.
I think that's smart.
Yeah, that's
They're-
still
Yeah,
fine.
it
Yeah,
makes it scarier, I think.
like even in the real world, like we wouldn't really know where it came from. We just know that this is our world now, and who gives a darn
I don't
who's
know.
in
I
our
mean,
world.
maybe if it got that out of hand where the civilization is gone, we'd probably never get to the bottom of it. And if we
Oh,
did,
yeah.
it'd be years from, the time when we're just trying to survive. But I don't know. I feel like that, for me, I like that sort of closure. Like, oh, okay, that's how it happened. I guess because I'm very, like, I need to know. Like, what
Yeah,
the
and
hell?
I think that would be an interesting character arc. I mean, I know this isn't really talking about the show now, but that would be an interesting character arc for someone to like, for their whole goal, to be like, I need to know why this is because I can't live in this world, and I won't live in this world like this. I need to know why this is happening and how to stop it.
Almost like a coping mechanism. Like, I need
Yeah.
to get to the bottom of it. I need to know the truth. That's what I would do.
And that's kind of what I'm forgetting his name, the scientist guy who's a fraud.
Eugene.
Yeah,
Yeah, Eugene. That's kind
I
of what he
love
was
him.
going for. I mean, like he obviously did not have the real answers or anything like that, but that's kind of what he was searching for, just like having some sort of thing to take his mind off of this world,
I am a coward.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Oh, okay. So now that we're in spoilers, I did actually like that bit about the boyfriend, Eliza's boyfriend, because it was so subtle. Like it's just like at first she's just like, oh, he stood me up on our date. Oh shoot! And it's very funny. They made a very special note that she never actually called him. I don't know if anyone noticed that. She only texted him the whole time.
Yeah.
Never tried to call him and be like, hey, or like FaceTime or something like that. Just like text. Like the last text she had was like, where are you or something. And then she said it again or something. And it was like, that was the last text from like the previous day. It's like, geez Louise. Like call your boyfriend. And was anywhere else weirded out by the Calvin and Nick scene in the diner?
Dude,
Or just that
I
whole
was like,
scenario?
are they
Yeah.
lovers? I don't know what's going
I
on
did
here,
think
but
they
I
were,
feel like they are romantically involved.
It's like
and
The Wire.
this show is just taking all the leaps and
He was Omar.
yeah.
But even just the fact of him like leaving with him, I don't know, that whole scene just felt like weird to me. I don't know.
it really did. It really did.
It
I
went
mean,
on too long.
They
To be
used to be
honest-
friends. Is that what was anybody else getting? They used to be friends, and then he became a dealer, and now he's
Yeah.
like, it's, yeah. That's
It was. I mean, that sort of like little intimacy, I guess, if you will,
Yeah, I know what
was
he's talking.
as an indication of their, I guess, previous friendship. And even before when he was telling, his mom, oh, we haven't hung out or whatever in a long time, and oh, anything for Nick. I mean, and it was funny because I was like, either this guy's a horrible actor or he's really good because he's really shady.
Yeah, like I got that like right off the bat, like he's hiding something, and I knew like where that scene was going from like the beginning. Like I know he was just trying to like say like, oh, I gotta kill this guy now because he's like acting crazy and he's gonna
Acting crazy
yeah.
and like telling his parents about where I live.
Yeah, like I knew like that he was just trying to like relax him. That wasn't like any kind of friendliness or anything like
Yeah.
that.
He's just like, don't go anywhere. Like
Yeah,
chillax.
like oh, I
I
got
got
you.
a gun in the car for you.
That-
Let's go
but that
drive
felt
down this weird alleyway.
Yeah, no, but that felt really odd too. That long sort of scene where they're sitting there and he's like crying there, like he's like consoling him almost, like hugging him, and he has his like chest or his head in his chest, and
I think
and
it's just because
even-
he needed a hit or needed a
Yeah.
fix.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. But it was just so strange the way that they interacted. But even like he goes, they pull up and he's telling him to get out of the car and he has a gun. I was like, where the hell is all this coming from? What
Yeah,
the
it seemed
hell?
really quick. I feel like that was, and the way he did it was really like sloppy too. Like if you're gonna kill a guy, like you don't like put your gun in your pants or something like that. But that being said, I think the actor who played Nick did a fucking awesome job in this
Dude.
entire episode. Like he
Yeah,
was
he was
acting
good.
his butt off. Like
Yeah, he-
definitely.
He had that autistic swag
The
walk
autistic
down.
Johnny Depp. He was like autistic Jack
He
Sparrow.
was typing Morse code everywhere he went.
Really,
by the way, he
seriously.
stole that old guy's clothes, right?
He
Yeah,
did. He
because I
stole the
was
old clothes,
like, why
walking
is he
around.
that jacket?
Yeah, he was
Um,
totally rocking it though.
yeah, no. Initially, out of all of them, obviously, I think he was the most intriguing character. But
Yeah.
initially, I could not stand him. He was just so. I mean, I guess because he was like totally out of it in the beginning. He was high, and he was like, "Yeah, it's crazy stuff happened. You know, like life changing. Like I was scared out of my wits, gonna, cry." And he's just laying there in the hospital bed and can't tell anybody what happened. Like if it was so traumatizing and horrible, why can't you say anything? He had like the um, communication skills of like a first grader. He was just like, what? He was just so annoying to me.
But I felt bad for him at the end of the episode though. Like when Calvin like had he was dead and he was like I killed him or whatever, and like you
Yeah.
see that he wasn't there. He was like his face was just like I swear I'm not. Like he even started crying like with his mom like I'm not crazy, but he was like starting to accept that he possibly was insane at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was consulting when he was talking to oh gosh, stepfather. What's his name? Remind me again. Travis. Like when they had their little 1-to-1 in the hospital. He was like, yeah, like, I think I might, like, legit be going insane. I really do not want to go insane.
Yeah, he was just like,
Broke my heart.
I don't want to be crazy. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And even in the end, when he was like telling his mom, or when they got there, he's like, I did a bad thing. And they're like, oh, no, it's okay. And he's like, he's dead. I killed him. I was just like, holy shit. This kid is nuts.
One thing I didn't really like throughout the entire thing was the music. Not so much like I didn't like the way it was made. It tried to make the show more suspenseful than it actually was. Like it didn't earn it. Like if you watch those scenes that were trying to be suspenseful or whatever without the music or just turn off the sound, it doesn't even really work. Like I don't know.
The principal scene when she walked up behind the principal.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's just like it's like a cheap jump scare. Like the bar that I'm measuring it by was set by The Walking Dead. They don't use music half the time, and it works so well, and it's also filmed very well. Like they convey that so much better than this one does, really. But I like the cinematography in this one because it feels more like a movie. So I guess that comes with it, like the whole sort of making it more scary than it is through music, and not just relying on the visuals.
We're not really set up to lose much yet, so I don't feel that same intensity. I'm like, oh my god, no, please don't be bitten and don't.
For a show called Fear of the Walking Dead, and we're following for most of the pilot episode the junkie son. You'd think it'd be a little, through his eyes, it should be a little bit more scary, but it wasn't really that. It didn't feel threatening at all, really.
No.
Until the very end.
Yeah, the only one I actually care about right now, if that person died, would be Nick, actually.
Yeah.
So far. And maybe the stepfather. Like, I would feel bad for that. But, like, if the daughter died, I wouldn't really care. Like, her boyfriend dying, didn't really care.
We don't have the emotional investment. We don't have that yet. And it's really hard to establish with this one episode when you're following all these freaking characters.
Right.
And
It's
you're
easier when you have just Rick.
Exactly. And even with Morgan and his son, obviously you understand the relationship between the two, and it was very prominent at the very beginning, Morgan and his son. And then later, when you find out all other stuff, you're just like, oh my god, horrifying. But it feels so different than The Walking Dead. It feels like it's not The Walking Dead. It feels like just another zombie apocalypse thing for me, which I'm really hoping it.
Yeah, this feels like a show they would make if Walking Dead didn't exist.
Exactly, like an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm. I think that like Frank, I was talking to Antoine about this earlier. I think Frank Darabont had such a strong vision for that first season that it and then the people who took over the show after that kind of carried that on in their own ways or whatever. But he kind of set the table for it, and I don't feel like this show has quite that same vision that he did.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, it feels, you don't even really have to think about it. It's just sort of instinctive. Like, yeah, this just doesn't feel the way The Walking Dead does. It just doesn't have the same feel. I wouldn't even, if you didn't tell me the names of the show, I wouldn't even couple it with The Walking Dead. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
This feels very much like a TV show, whereas Walking Dead, you were like sucked in to whatever was happening, and you just had to keep watching. And this one,
The Walking Dead's like a world.
Yeah.
This is a TV show, and The Walking Dead, that shit really happened as far as I'm concerned.
Shit. Alternate reality.
But
Aaron,
even
do you have
the
any thoughts? Oh, what'd you have,
actors.
Ryan?
Oh no, I was gonna say just even the actors they cast in this one compared to the actors they cast in The Walking Dead. All the actors in The Walking Dead feel very, I don't
Of the
know.
world.
Like,
Yeah,
Lived
like they
in.
feel like they are the characters. Where
They're
these
real.
just kind of feel like TV characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
like we've
exactly.
seen this person on this show and this person on this show, and
And
that kind
maybe it's because it's set in LA.
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
They
say that.
act like actors.
they act like actors.
That's hilarious.
This is actors trying to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to what the rest of the season will offer based
Yeah.
on this, though. So definitely looking forward to how that's gonna play out. Aaron, did you have any favorite sequences? I want to get your opinion here a little bit.
I mean, like,
Full spoilers, by
really,
the way.
like, the scariest part of the show for me was, like, not even, like, a scary moment. It was just, like, when the daughter, Alicia, and, like, her boyfriend were, like, they were, like, apparently, like, sitting on a roof, but,
Yeah.
like, I guess, like, the way it was shot at first, I didn't, like, have, like, context as to where they were, so I just thought they were, like, in the back of a billboard somewhere, so I'm like, oh my god, how'd they get up there, and how are they getting down? It's, like, so scary. It's just, oh. But then, like, they panned out, and they were, like, just on a roof, so I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, I was like super nervous that whole time. Like, oh god, what are they doing up there?
I felt that conversation they had too was kind of like messed up on boyfriend's part because like he was all saying all these things like I can't wait to leave and he's like, but I'm still here and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. I don't know. I don't really like the girl. She seems kind of like deadpan to me. Like,
Yeah, I don't like her either.
She's replacement Carl.
She's
Yeah,
she's dead weight right now. I think she's like perfect, and I mean, I can relate. I guess like the relationship. That's just me, my personal experience. I can relate to her and her brother just being kind of a moronic screw up that just cannot get his life together for the life of him, and it weighs the whole family down. Like I can relate to that personally, but other than that, she's really got nothing else. Like she's just kind of there.
yeah.
Yeah, let's get some predictions. Who do you think of this group that we have, including the step family that we haven't really fully been introduced to? Who do you think is gonna die first?
His step family.
Yeah. Maybe not even the step family. Maybe the mom. The mom is really expendable. We don't need her.
Wait, no, not the step family. I mean his real family.
Oh yeah, really, yeah.
Step
I
family.
got what you meant. though.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I did too. That's weird. Totally got it.
Even though
I
I was
think
completely wrong.
Hive mind.
It was wrong, but I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
What in the
Yeah,
world?
Exactly. That's hilarious. I mean, because they're step family to us because we didn't really see them.
Yeah.
So.
I don't like
They're
that.
like our step family.
What I think I don't know if the next episode's gonna really hit the fan. I think it's still gonna be
Yeah, I think it's gonna be slow for him still.
Yeah.
How many episodes are there in this season? Like 6?
Really?
Yeah, it's a short
6.
one.
Oh, then no,
Um,
it's just gotta hit the fan next episode then.
Yeah,
I feel like it might be like halfway through this season. I feel like what's going to happen now is the same thing that happened with the son. The two parents now know about it, and so they're going to go around saying, this is happening, this is crazy, and no one's going to believe them now. And then at the at the end of the next episode, other people are going to start seeing this, and then it'll just go all martial law like.
It's almost like paranormal experiences. It starts in one household with one person.
Yeah.
And then the whole family's paranoid and no one believes them.
I do actually appreciate that it's not happening as fast as we usually see it in movies. Like
Yeah.
if we see it in movies, it's always like one person got bit, so now the whole freaking like city is gonna go down in like
Yeah.
a day. Here,
Yeah.
it's like no, it's gonna be pretty slow. Like it takes a while for one person to bite another person to bite.
Yeah, I
another
did kind of
person.
like how life is kind of proceeding as normal, even though
Right.
there's like zombies like actually existing right now.
That's how
And it makes
would be.
sense
It'll be
because
very
LA,
under the
everyone
radar.
kind of like just ignores each other anyway. So you feel like a
Yeah.
bomb shambling around. Everyone's gonna think, oh, whatever. Like they're even gonna like look twice at it, but it's like actually a zombie.
Right,
Yeah, that's-
That was
exactly.
kind of cool.
Do you guys think that the mom got bit? They didn't really.
No, I don't think
Clarify.
she did. I think that was just a fake out.
Yeah,
I think it's a fake out too. She has a thick coat. That's fine.
But it was
Um,
trying to establish that hey, this is a zombie, guys.
Yeah, and it's funny. Ricky was saying when they're sitting in traffic, he's like, "See, no one would care. No one
Yeah,
would think twice about
It's
that
the
'cause
5.
that's LA traffic."
Exactly.
Going
Yeah.
up to La Brea. This is ghetto copters in the sky. This is normal.
Yep.
I'm surprised more people didn't freak out when there was gunshots too. Like when they heard the gunshots, it was like, yeah.
Well, I mean, even I don't know. People be like, "Ooh, what's going on over there?"
I mean, he did like pull off, which was smart, but like no one else seemed like there was a few other cars that followed him, but it wasn't as many as I think I thought should be when there's
Nope.
gunshots going.
I think it would have been cooler to experience. I still have had ideas like that too. It would have been cooler to follow the characters experiencing the things that are just really weird going on around them, like gunshots. What the hell? People screaming and stuff like that, and they're just sort of trying to get away from it. That would be neat. And then the next day, like, what the hell was all that about? But we got like a little taste. I was telling Ricky, like, this is a cock tease. This is like, I have blue balls. This is ridiculous.
You know what I kind of wish is I wish the show was taking place at wherever it started. Like, to know that there's already 5 states that have incidents happen. I'm like, well, where are these places? Let me know about this place. Where is this in America?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to see how this eventually will fit into what we have now with The Walking Dead. Because if they're trying to make this a franchise series, it should at some point overlap in some sense. Not necessarily like the characters have to meet each other, but thematically something has to happen that's
Yeah.
that's a through line between the two series. Because otherwise, it's just another show.
Yeah, just on the other side of the country.
Right.
Yeah. It might end up being that.
They're going to be cinematic universes and they're going to collide.
So did they say there's going to be some crossover? Did any of the creators say that?
No,
They
I
said
think-
that through, I think at the end of this episode or end of this season, and then the beginning of the next one, it's gonna jump time towards the new season. It'll take place during the same time, but they're not gonna meet up ever.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is I think people, the more that this one goes on and people actually start to give a damn about these characters, they might reconsider that.
Road trip.
They're gonna
Yeah.
find
There's a cure in Washington, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or where
Or
did
maybe-
Eugene start?
Eugene started in Texas, I believe.
Yeah, they were in Texas. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they just have to make it to Texas and then cross with Eugene, and then Eugene takes them. I'm going to Washington, and then they get separated at some point, and then Eugene goes his way, and
Well, Eugene only made up that whole Washington bollocks when he met Abraham.
Oh, that's
He
true.
literally made it up on the spot. Like, hey, Washington, there's a cure. Let's go.
Well, last thing though, like, where do you think they would, if you were in LA, where do you think they would escape to? Because you can't stay in LA for too long. during
Yeah.
the
Escape
apocalypse.
from LA.
Oh my god, I can't even.
This has to take place
Why
somewhere
doesn't someone
else.
just like, I don't know, isn't like Catalina or something like close, like an island or something?
Oh, they could explore that. The
Yeah,
island.
go out to the Channel Islands because there's no one on them. That's good.
Yeah.
Dude, that could be an interesting storyline. Just trying to get to an island. Actually, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dead Island.
I feel like
Yeah.
everybody with a boat though would just be hopping on the boat and going out there.
I've thought about that repeatedly. Because
Didn't that happen on
like I
the
said-
show once, where a guy went out on a boat and came back? Or am I thinking about Last of Us? I'm thinking about Last of Us. Never mind.
yeah, you probably
Maybe.
see. And I was just gonna say that like I play zombie video games. I've been playing them for like ever, so I have a lot of that in my head. So that goes into sort of critiquing the stuff too. Like, no, you would. Why are you doing that? That's just ignorant. Don't do that. But yeah, where would they go? I would go to like the highest place ever.
Yeah, maybe go
I-
to the Angeles Crest Highway, like up in the mountains.
I would go to the desert, maybe.
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder if heat would affect them, and I can manage to survive and get resources and stay there.
Yeah, I think extreme heat or extreme cold can like screw up
Yeah.
a zombie because they can't like adjust their body temperatures at all. So they're
They
just
probably hate
high.
sand.
Yeah, even if they can survive it, they won't be able to like move. Or
Yeah, they'll just be like
lies.
melted or frozen.
He's
really-
Johnny
when they're
Depp.
sitting in the truck, oh my gosh, when they're sitting in the truck, he's like, "What's eating Gilbert's grape?" And Ricky was like, "Huh? What's eating Gilbert's grape?" He's like, Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp in the same person right now. He's acting all retarded.
Yeah, I said it's Johnny DiCaprio.
Very good point. All right, so let's get into our concluding statements about this show. Let's start off with Aaron.
Oh, awesome. I mean, I kind of like it so far. I mean, there's good and bad aspects of it, which is like everything else, basically. But it's definitely like worth the watch. Like, I really want to see where they're headed with this and if it can really measure up to The Walking Dead. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what happens. So yeah, I like how it's set. We're in my hometown, so.
And Ryan, how about you?
I'll see where it goes. I wasn't super impressed, but it actually makes me anxious for the next season of The Walking Dead, so I'm excited about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Ricky, how about you?
What they said. I mean, it almost to make like an apt comparison. Did she? She looks like she got bit.
She didn't get. He didn't pierce the jacket, bruh.
I guess so. It feels like Avengers: Age of Ultron did to me. It's all set up for something better. I want to see the better thing.
Following the multiple characters.
Yeah.
All at once. It's too much.
But I mean, I like Cliff Curtis, the main guy, and I like the Johnny Depp kid. And I like that it's set in LA. I'm hoping.
What's his real name anyway? The Johnny Depp kid.
I'll look it up right now.
His name
Like
Frank Delane.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Delane. Okay.
I don't know. I guess I'm lukewarm. I mean, it's hard to say I won't watch it because it feels that void of waiting for The Walking Dead to come on. So yeah, I don't want to say excited. What do I want to say? I'm patient. I don't know.
I'm patient for more. Yeah. Turk, what are your feelings?
You gotta save me for last because I talk too much.
Okay, I'll go. Then I'll go. Hold on, first. So yeah, for me, kind of the same thing. Watching through the episode, there was times where I looked at the time code and be like, "Is it like over?" Yeah, like I looked at my time code and be like, "I could do without this right now." But again, yeah, just because of the concept and that it is within the same universe as Rick and his gang, I will continue watching it. Plus, I do kind of like the setup with the stepfather in particular and the stepson, Nick. And I want to see how that goes. And I definitely want to see what kind of choices are going to have to be made in the preceding episodes. All right, now, Turk, you can go.
Oh, what? What happened? Sorry, I was just reading a comment. Someone said like they agreed with the Johnny Depp look. Everyone's saying it online now.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, no, I agree. The only characters that I was actually really intrigued with, and even their interactions together were the only ones that were interesting to me were the stepdad and his stepson, Nick. It's not entirely. I mean, it was somewhat disappointing. I was like really hyped for it. That could be me just being super hyped. But I definitely want to see where they're going to go with it. Like, again, it was just sort of like a tease for me. When it ended, I was like, what? That's it? But that ending scene, I think, was enough to really keep me interested. So I will be tuning in.
Awesome. All right, cool. So we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining us here on Fear the Walking Podcast. As always, this is
Ricky.
Turk.
Aaron.
Ryan.
And your host, Antoine Vandelay. See you guys later, and peace, love, and all that stuff that I say that I can't remember what I say right now. Bye!
Bye.
May the force be with you.
Bye.
Wrong podcast!
Live long and prosper.
Wait, what are we doing then?